Has it ever happened that a negative comment or a provocative attitude ruined your day? This happens to all of us, but it's important to know no one has control over your emotions unless you allow them to. Now, think about what it feels like to stay calm no matter what's going on around you. Imagine living a whole day with so much peace that nothing and no one can take your balance away. This is not an impossible dream. It's the transformation that occurs when you learn to master your feelings. In this video, I will teach you 10 Stoic teachings that will help you stop reacting without thinking, leave anger behind, and regain control of your emotions. Stoicism is not about not feeling anything or being insensitive. It's about learning to deal with your feelings more intelligently. You will learn to face criticism without losing your cool, to establish healthy limits, and most importantly, to release the grudges that hold you back. Before we start, like this video, leave your comment and subscribe to the channel. This helps YouTube realize that our content is valuable and shows it to more people, who will also learn to control their emotions. Let's get started. 1. Transform anger with gratitude. Have you ever found yourself on a day when nothing seems to be going right, where anger arises and you ask yourself, why does everything have to be so complicated now? What if, instead of giving in to your anger, you decided to see things differently? What if, instead of focusing on what's wrong, you started noticing what's going right? Gratitude has the power to calm anger and transform even the most difficult moments into chances to find peace. There is a simple truth to this. We cannot feel anger and gratitude at the same time. When you connect with what is positive, anger loses strength. It doesn't magically disappear, but it doesn't have room to grow. What you put your attention to tends to grow. In the same way that little things fuel anger, small gestures of gratitude can shift your energy. Cicero said that gratitude is not only the greatest of all virtues, but the mother of all others. When you practice gratitude, it not only decreases anger, but it also strengthens your patience, your strength, and your ability to focus on what really matters. It is a tool always at your fingertips, simple and powerful. The secret is to turn this into a habit. When you feel angry, stop for a moment, take a deep breath, and ask yourself, what can I be thankful for right now? Try at the end of each day, writing down 3 things you are grateful for. It may be something simple, but it helps you focus on the good, even on the hardest days. Furthermore, it is important to change the way we see situations. When something doesn't go as expected, instead of dwelling on the problem, ask, what can I learn from this? If you receive a negative review, for example, instead of letting yourself be overcome by anger or sadness, try to reflect. I'm grateful to be able to learn from this feedback, even if the way wasn't the best. This doesn't mean accepting negative behaviors, but rather controlling how you react, keeping your peace. And remember, even if the day was difficult and you didn't learn as much as you wanted, at least you didn't lose your health. Gratitude is an invitation to shift focus from what is missing to what we already have. It's not about ignoring anger or frustration, but about choosing to see what lifts us up, not what brings us down. 2. Honor your own limits. Imagine a day full of tasks and responsibilities. In the middle of this, someone shows up with a request that you could easily handle on your own, or a coworker gives you a last-minute task. What do you feel? A growing frustration, right? This ends up affecting your plans and you wonder, why is it so hard to say no? The answer is simple. To protect your peace, you need to set limits. Without them, you let others decide how you spend your time and energy. Saying yes to everything also means saying no to what's important to you. The big lesson here is, you can't give your best to others if you don't take care of yourself first. If you dedicate yourself to others without thinking about your own energy, frustration and fatigue will appear. Setting limits is above all an act of self-love. They not only protect your inner peace, but also help create more balanced and healthy relationships. Remember, when someone oversteps your boundaries, it is your responsibility for not clearly defending them. People can't guess what you need. If you don't talk about your borders, they end up being invaded, often unintentionally. Setting limits is a form of respect, both for yourself and others. For example, imagine that a friend always asks you for advice late at night. Even though we want to help, this type of situation cannot be sustained. Instead of getting frustrated, try saying, "I'd love to help you, but I need to rest. Can we talk tomorrow?" This is a firm and gentle way to protect your well-being without damaging the friendship. As Aristotle said, true freedom is not doing whatever you want, but doing what is right. If you have difficulty setting limits, start by being clear and honest. State your needs simply and directly. People tend to respect you more when they know exactly what you need. For example, "I need some time to myself after work." Instead of accusing someone by saying, "You always get in my way," the way you communicate makes all the difference. And once you set your limits, be firm. Consistency shows that you truly value your time and space. As the saying goes, who knows when to stop avoids falling into traps. By respecting your own limits, you avoid unnecessary stress and create a more balanced life. Boundaries are not walls that keep people apart, but rather foundations for more respectful and healthy relationships. When you honor your own limits, you reclaim your energy and direct it toward what really matters. Remember, your priority should be yourself, your peace, your time, and your well-being. By putting yourself first, you can give your best to the world. 3. I wouldn't act like that. Free yourself from that expectation. Have you ever noticed how frustrated we get when we expect people to act the way we want them to, and they don't? Disappointment sets in quickly, and we think, how can they be so insensitive? I would never do that. The truth is that people act according to their own experiences, not what we expect from them. Trying to control what they do is like trying to trap the wind. No matter how hard we try, he will always go his own way. Each person sees life in a unique way, shaped by their beliefs and experiences. When someone does something that hurts us, it doesn't reflect who we are. Most of the time, it's just a reaction to what she knows, nothing more. Trying to change others only leads to frustration. Instead of expecting them to adapt to what we want, it's healthier to accept who they are. Imagine a work meeting. A colleague interrupts you all the time. Instead of getting angry or trying to correct his attitude, try to see the situation differently. His behavior is a reflection of him, not you. When you stop waiting for him to change, the stress disappears. As William Shakespeare said, expectations are the root of all suffering. The less we expect from others, the more we can maintain our inner peace. Here's a simple exercise. Whenever someone bothers you, ask yourself, what did I expect this person to do? Then ask yourself, is it fair to expect her to act exactly as I want? Instead of trying to change her attitude, focus on how you can react more calmly while maintaining your emotional balance. Imagine the freedom of leaving all those expectations behind. The rude person, the friend who forgot you, the colleague who didn't care. None of them can take away your peace unless you let them. When you stop expecting others to act the way you want, you regain control over your reactions. Accepting this does not mean tolerating toxic behavior or abandoning your principles. It's simply understanding that your peace is worth more than what is out of your control. The next time someone disappoints you, take a deep breath and think, they are acting their way, not how I would like. This is not in my control. In the end, the choice of how to react is yours. By freeing yourself from expectations, you gain not only freedom from others, but also relief from the emotional weight you are carrying. 4. Don't be defined by the words of others. Imagine a moment when you share something that truly inspires you, something that comes from the heart. Suddenly, someone gives you a bad review. That unexpected word changes everything, and your confidence crumbles. But why does this happen? The explanation is simple. We often give others the power to decide how we see ourselves. When we seek approval from others, we allow them to determine our worth. True power comes from within, and that is what gives us confidence. When someone criticizes what you do, your first reaction may be to want to defend yourself or to feel sad. But what if instead of responding right away, you took some time? What if when you heard that criticism, you thought that it was just an opinion and not a definitive judgment about who you are? This pause creates a space to think. It gives you the chance to reflect before acting. Not to ignore what was said, but to separate what is useful from what is not worth absorbing. It is a practice of inner peace, something the Stoics always emphasized. It's not about controlling what happens, but about controlling how we react. When you take this pause, you reaffirm who you really are. It's not about not caring about criticism, but about being true to yourself, without letting others decide who you should be. Your value doesn't depend on what others think, it comes from within. And understanding this strengthens your self-esteem. Lao Tzu teaches us, if you care too much about other people's opinions, you become their prisoner. Freeing yourself from the search for approval doesn't mean ignoring others, but rather stopping, clinging to what doesn't help you grow. This brings freedom and an emotional lightness that is important for living well. The next time someone questions your confidence, take that pause. Ask yourself, will this really define who I am, or can I focus on what's really important? This simple reflection is the secret to recognizing your own strength. True strength is not in avoiding criticism, but in knowing and holding firm to who you are. When you stop letting other people's words define your worth, you will create space to be yourself. And by doing so, you will not only become more authentic, but you will also maintain your peace, something that in fact, no one can take away from you. 5. Detach yourself from the opinions of others. Have you ever felt bad after sharing an idea or opinion and being met with criticism or indifference? The pain is real, and this feeling can turn your confidence into doubt. But stop for a moment and reflect, why do other people's opinions have such an impact on you? We've all fallen into the trap of seeking approval from others. It's like trying to hold on to something invisible. You will never make it. True freedom comes when you decide not to be governed by what others think. Each person sees the world based on their own experiences and insecurities. What they say about you actually reveals more about the speaker than about who you really are. When you give too much importance to these opinions, you give up control of your feelings and let others influence your life. Its value is not at stake, no matter what they say or think about you. Its value is solid and immutable. This is detachment. The moment you free yourself from the need for approval, you begin to live according to your true nature. For example, you choose a new outfit and you feel great in it. But when you ask a colleague, he makes a joke by saying, "That outfit doesn't fit." You may feel bad or simply realize that his opinion has no power over your happiness. That's the key: detachment. Don't let what others think affect your state of mind. Epictetus, a Stoic philosopher, said, "If you want to improve, accept being considered a fool." It may be difficult, but this detachment is true freedom. Growing up means following your own path, even if it doesn't please everyone. The search for approval can be paralyzing, but only you can walk your own journey. So how do you start letting go of other people's opinions? First, question the value of these opinions. When something bothers you, ask, why does this affect me so much? What does this person have to do with my life? Reaffirm your values and focus on what is really important to you. Your actions should be guided by your own goals, not the expectations of others. And when you receive criticism, acknowledge it, but don't let it dominate you. Imagine these words as leaves floating on the river. They pass and leave no marks. Remember, if you seek approval, you will become a prisoner of others. The next time someone tries to shake your confidence, ask, am I living to please this person or for myself? Choose to ignore what doesn't matter. Your path is unique and does not need to be defined by passing opinions. 6. Find the value in criticism. It's normal for criticism to make us feel uncomfortable, but if we approach it with an open mind, it can become a valuable tool for our growth. Instead of seeing it as something negative, we can use it to challenge and improve ourselves. Imagine that you are preparing a presentation and receive feedback from a colleague pointing out several points where you can improve. Instead of ignoring or defending yourself, stop for a moment and think, what can I learn from this? Is there anything I can really improve? Shifting your focus from defending yourself to learning turns criticism into an opportunity to improve your skills. As Lao Tzu says, knowing others is intelligence, knowing yourself is wisdom. Criticism then becomes a mirror that shows us aspects of ourselves that we might not see without it. Of course, not all criticism will be helpful. Some may come from people with bad intentions or a negative outlook. The important thing is to know how to identify what is useful and discard what is not helpful. This is what it means to use criticism intelligently. Here are 3 tips to deal with it more calmly. First, take a deep breath before reacting. This moment of pause helps you avoid impulsive responses and think more calmly and rationally. Second, consider who is giving the feedback. Does this person's opinion deserve your attention? This can completely change the way you view criticism. Lastly, look for the lesson. Even in the harshest criticism, there is always something to learn. Ask yourself, what good can I get from here? Now imagine that someone in your family criticizes your life choices. Instead of reacting angrily or defending yourself, you respond calmly and maturely, without letting the situation escalate into a fight. As Epictetus said, "No person is free who does not own himself." By staying calm and in control, you turn criticism into a boost for your growth rather than a hindrance to your inner peace. So when you receive criticism, instead of worrying about what others think of you, ask yourself, what can I learn from this? This simple exercise could be the key to becoming a stronger, more balanced version of yourself. When faced calmly, criticism is an opportunity to grow. If you accept it with humility, you will realize that in the discomfort lies learning. Embracing this process is the way to build resilience and a deeper connection with yourself. 7. Stop fighting for the need to always be right. Remember the last time you won an argument. Maybe it was something simple, like which path to take, or maybe it was something more serious, with a friend or partner. During the conversation, you probably felt the urge to prove yourself right, as if that were the only thing that mattered. Always being right is often linked to a feeling of insecurity, as if being contradicted threatens who we are. But what if, instead of insisting on your point of view, you tried to understand others, opening your mind to new ideas? Is it worth being right more than having peace? When you focus on always winning an argument, you end up creating more tension, fueling frustration, and damaging your relationships. But when you choose not to get attached to being right all the time, a feeling of relief and tranquility arises. Think about it. If someone makes an unfair accusation against you, the desire to defend yourself may be immediate. But is it really worth spending energy trying to prove them wrong? Most of the time, the answer is no. Here's a simple example. Your friend says he has the perfect solution to a problem and you don't agree. Instead of fighting, you can calmly respond, "I understand your opinion and about her." This type of response diffuses the situation and keeps the peace. Those who are too attached to their own opinions cannot grow. Lao Tzu teaches us that giving up the need to always be right does not mean abandoning your values, but rather choosing your battles better, knowing when it is better to give in and when it is important to assert yourself. Over time, you will realize that letting go of the obsession with being right brings more lightness and tranquility. In the end, you don't have to win every conversation because you've learned to choose peace over pride. Remember, true strength is not in winning arguments, but in knowing how to act in them and above all in maintaining your inner peace. When you feel like proving something, ask yourself, does being right bring happiness, or is it peace that really makes a difference? Start ignoring this need now. Say to yourself, I prefer my peace, and know that this choice shows that you are stronger than any situation. 8. Understand that you have complete control. Imagine you are having a peaceful day, resting or taking care of your things. Everything seems calm until someone says something that makes you uncomfortable. Your peace is disrupted, and a feeling of frustration or anger begins to wash over you. You think, why did this person ruin my day? The truth is simple. No one can ruin your day unless you let them. You have complete control over your reactions. This moment of frustration is just your choice. What the other person does or says can be like a button they press on you, but you are the one who decides whether that button will be activated. The world will always present challenges, but how you respond to them is your decision. True strength comes from within, from your ability to control your emotions, not from impulsive reactions. Now imagine being in a city full of noise, with cars honking and people talking at high volume. Although the sound is there, it doesn't invade your personal space. It's like wearing sound-blocking headphones. The noise is there, but you choose not to let it affect your inner peace. This is mastering your reactions, living in a busy world, and still maintaining your balance. Tranquility does not come from the lack of noise, but from the choice not to be dominated by it. Between what happens and your response, there is a space. This is where your power lies. True freedom is in how you choose to react. This is self-control, choosing to be calm rather than angry, being understanding rather than impulsive. For example, when someone cuts you off in traffic, the temptation is to get angry. But what if instead you take a step back? In that brief moment, you realize that your answer is a choice. Also think about a coworker who belittles your ideas. You could be upset and think about it all day. But what would happen if, instead of reacting, you paused and reflected? Is this about me or his stress? This moment of reflection gives you the power to decide. Often what others do or say has more to do with them than with you. This space of pause helps to lessen the emotional impact of the situation. Thinking like this doesn't mean ignoring or hiding what you feel. Anger, frustration, and disappointment are natural and part of life. The secret is to realize that these emotions do not need to control your actions. Each emotion is an opportunity to reflect, not a decision that dictates what you will do next. A simple way to start training this way of thinking is to take a break whenever you feel like something is bothering you. Ask yourself, what am I feeling? Is it anger, sadness? Naming what you are feeling helps stop the automatic reaction. Then ask yourself, why am I feeling this? Is it about what happened or how I interpreted the situation? And finally, choose how to respond. Decide to act according to what you believe is right, not according to the emotion of the moment. Now imagine the freedom to live without letting the words or actions of others take away your peace. The rude comment, the unexpected mistake, the stranger who doesn't understand you, all of these lose their ability to affect you when you take control of your reactions. You have two choices. Let other people decide how you feel, or take control of your life and preserve your inner peace. The next time someone tries to provoke you, remember, their behavior does not have the power to affect your peace. Your answer, yes, and it's in choosing to stay calm that you find true emotional freedom, and also the freedom to live balanced, purposeful lives. 9. The strength of responding without saying a word. When someone provokes you, it's easy to feel like responding angrily. The heat rises, your heart beats faster, and the need to defend yourself seems uncontrollable. But have you ever thought about simply being silent? Contrary to what many think, silence is one of the strongest responses you can give. During a confrontation, it is not weakness. In fact, it shows control and inner strength. When you choose not to react, you put your peace of mind ahead of the need to justify yourself, which is a form of wisdom. Imagine that someone tries to humiliate you in front of other people. You can react, get into conflict and lose your energy, or you can choose to say nothing. By doing this, you take away that person's power to affect you, showing that their words have no control over you. Silence, as Stoic philosophy teaches us, is a more effective response than anger. Anger needs something to grow, but silence puts that fire out quickly. By deciding not to enter the fight, you interrupt the cycle of negativity and take care of your emotional health. Think of silence as a shield that deflects attacks without pulling you into the fight. Here are 3 ways to use silence powerfully. First, breathe before you act. When someone provokes you, stop for a moment. Breathe and calm down. This short break creates a space to think clearly. Second, listen without trying to defend yourself. Sometimes people just want to be heard. Give that space without the need to justify yourself. And finally, only speak when necessary. If you are going to speak, be calm and direct. Remember, only speak if your words can actually help the situation. Silence does not mean ignoring your feelings, but choosing the best moment to express them. It doesn't make you avoid the problem. but it helps preserve your energy until your words make a difference. How many times have you regretted something you said without thinking? Silence is like a protection that gives us time to reflect before reacting and avoid those regrets. The next time someone tries to provoke you, ask, will my response make this better, or will it just make the situation worse? By choosing silence, you take care of your peace and show that you have control over what happens. Silence is true wisdom. It allows you to rise above the confusion and assert, what affects me are my actions, not the words of others. And so, you win without having to raise your voice. 10. Master the art of letting go. Imagine you are holding a hot coal ready to throw it at someone who has hurt you. But while he waits, the ember burns his own hand. Anger and resentment are like that ember. You end up hurting yourself more by holding them than the person who caused the pain. True strength is not in continuing to fuel the fire of anger, but in knowing when to release it and move on. Letting go doesn't mean forgetting what happened or pretending nothing was said. It means letting go of the emotional weight that holds you back in the past, allowing you to live fully in the present. As has been said before, holding on to anger is like drinking poison and waiting for the other person to suffer. The way we react to things that hurt us defines our path of growth and transformation. Now think, is there something that has hurt you recently? How long were you thinking about this? How much energy did you waste wondering what you would do or trying to get revenge? Freeing yourself from this hurt is the secret to interrupting this cycle and being able to move forward in a lighter and happier way. Imagine, in your work, that someone uses your idea without giving you the credit you deserve. You can dwell on this injustice for days, or you can choose not to let it have more power over you than you deserve. Remember that the value of who you are does not depend on moments like this. When you let go of this anger, you protect your inner peace and focus on what really matters, your growth and the opportunities that lie ahead. As Lao Tzu teaches us, when I give up what I am, I become what I can be. Letting go is not just about getting rid of anger or resentment. It's letting go of the need to be perfect, the fear of failing, and the desire to control everything around us. It's accepting life with all its uncertainties and discovering the true freedom that comes from this acceptance. Here are 3 steps to start practicing. First, accept your feelings without judging yourself. Ignoring or repressing emotions only makes them more intense. Allow yourself to feel what is inside you without guilt. Then change the way you see the situation. Ask yourself, what can I learn from this? How can I use this to improve or grow as a person? Finally, return your attention to the present moment. Releasing yourself is your choice, not something others decide for you. When you change your view of the situation, the emotional weight begins to disappear. Imagine it like releasing a balloon. The more you try to hold it, the harder it becomes, but as soon as you let go, it rises and you feel a feeling of weightlessness. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, do not be upset by what is not within your power. When you find yourself stuck in anger or regret, ask yourself, is this really worth losing my peace over? And what would happen if I just let it go? This is the path to finding true emotional freedom. True strength is knowing when to let go. Over time, as you practice this skill, you will feel lighter. The more you let go, the stronger you become, and peace will always be your ally. If you've made it this far, leave a "on the way" and thanks for watching.